Thank you so much. My name is CHIKWENDU, ENYINNAYA, Kalu. I represent the people of East South State constituency in the Abia State House of Assembly. I am the immediate past speaker of the Abia State House of Assembly, and at the same time and in the same vein, an aspirant. I am aspiring to occupy the #1 seat of the nation state called Nigeria. I am desiring to be the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federation of Nigeria, and under the umbrella of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Thank you so much. I think a lot of emotions have been moved that was able to impact and is still impacting in the welfare and well-being of Abians, the South people. But most importantly is the bill that has to do with the open grazing. It's a very important bill that caused a lot of problems, not only to Abians, but to Nigerians as a whole. And I must recall that prior to the promulgation of that particular law, the situation of the country was nothing to write home about. And no sooner did Benue State promulgated a law to that effect, Abia seconded under my watch. And I must confess that that particular law is still in existence in Abia State, even though the executive aspect of it is still questionable. As far as I'm concerned, it's somewhat believed that it has come at the right time, and we're looking forward to seeing the executive branch, most importantly the security agencies, from living up to their promise, living up to their constitutional responsibilities in making sure that that particular law, as it's being operated in Abia State, is being implemented to the letter. That's a very good question. I think before I answer that question, I'll be able to recognize the three core responsibilities of the legislator. When I am there to legislate, I am equally there as a legislator to oversight, and I am equally there to want to legislation, to represent, and at the same time to oversight. And I have not been lacking or lagging behind in respect of all these core responsibilities. But I want to tell you that there's a difference between reality and those responsibilities. While you are still doing those core responsibilities, there is need for you to look at what is obtainable in the society. I've been able to attract major projects within my constituency, like the Umeka Umoba Road. I did a lot to include it because ordinarily, prior to my ascendance into the speakership, I was the House Committee Chairman on appropriation. And that particular project was so dear and near to my heart. And not only incorporating same in the budget, I had to go personally to the government and express my passion as for fixing that particular road. Whatever happens thereafter is no longer the issue. But as far as I'm concerned, I attracted that road, and right now the traffic in that particular road is something everybody, because it connects a lot of even going to Akwa Ibom. You can avoid getting into Aba. If you want to come from Akwa Ibom to either Enugu or Umuahia or Owerri. That road is very, very strategic. So the economic importance of that particular road is something one can always rely upon. So as far as I'm concerned, I attracted that. And so many other things I've been able to do for my constituents in terms of rural road grading. You know the precarious situation of the local government council, and I wouldn't want to dabble into that. So what I've been able to do in my own individual capacity was to take over the grading of all these rural roads, underlining the economic importance of these roads to the market women, because without those roads they will not be able to access the various markets wherein they can sell whatever products they had got from their farms. So as far as I'm concerned, I've been able to do so many other things, including trying to empower so many people, the youths, giving them so many cars and all that. So they are innumerable. If you look at, there is no school project, that superb building in this local government that is built from 2015 till date that was not attracted by me. And I think I can go on and on to read them out. When I was speaker, I earmarked about 18. Initially I was out the road. And because I was kind of speaker of Abia State, some were built in Isiala and North, some were equally built in Osisioma. But as far as I'm concerned, because of the fact that I hail from this particular local government, I think up to about 20 something have been built in these places. Evidence are there. So when you go to so many areas, you now see them with a green roof, and they were attracted by my humble self. So I think I will rate myself 75. Very important question. Very important question. I've been in the legislative arm, and I think I want to do something in the executive arm. One of the fundamental problems we have as Nigerians and as leaders is our inability to obey the law which we make for ourselves. Very, very fundamental. We don't obey our laws. Even the leaders themselves in the executive arm do not even go ahead to implement the law that have been made by the legislative arm. I am trying to put that from our attitude. I can tell you that one comes under the umbrella of our attitude. Our attitude is nothing to write home about. Then there's something wrong in the structure of Nigeria. We continue to talk about federalism. The present Nigerian system does not fit into the pigeonhole of referring it as a federal system of government. I can tell you that I can go on and on and on to tell you that it does not fit into the mold of what KC Weir tells us about federalism. If you talk about the ideal system of federalism, the states vertically ought to be coordinated. They can't be subordinated to any other state or even the central government. So he looks at federalism from the point of view of as an agreement between the centrifugal and centripetal forces, that they are to coordinate, not to be subordinate. And I can go on to tell you, to ask you, whether the present system of government or Nigeria fits into this particular pigeonhole. The answer is no. So if we look at, we now get into the Constitution, something is wrong with the Constitution. They've been trying to cure them through what I can call piecemeal amendment. We need a holistic amendment of the Constitution, as far as I'm concerned. That will take care of the structural problem. We now address the issue of the items, because in the Constitution you talk about 98 items in the Constitution. 68 belong to the exclusive legislative list. 30 is in the concurrent. And even the 30 that is in the concurrent, the central government, once this one makes a law, the state make a law, and the central government makes a law, that made by the central government will now supersede or superimpose. So what we're trying to say is that there is need for the federal government to hands off some items. For instance, light. You're talking about generation, transmission, and all that. If you look at item 13 in particular of the concurrent legislative list, you will realize that while the states have the power to be able to generate light, but they can only do that subject to areas that are not covered by the general grid. And the question is, how can you identify those areas? So for me as a person, I so much believe, and I can continue to submit, that the federal government happens to section 120 of the 1999 Constitution Amendment, wherein the Constitution stipulates that any money that comes into, for instance, Abia State, must be warehoused into the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the state. So if it's coming into Abia State, it must be warehoused there. And the moment it is warehoused there, the governor takes over. So there's nothing you can do about it, apart from amending that particular section to reflect the independence of the State House of Assembly. And at the end of the day, they will be able to do their job in terms of oversighting, representation, and legislation. We are not producing. It is as simple as that. What I'm going to do differently, I may not be able to mention certain people that dash money to the youths. It is wrong. Under the guise of giving them one appointment or the other, they don't have a table. And you give them an appointment and dash them at the end of the month, you give them 50,000 or 100,000 at the case. I want you to earn money. I want the youths to be gainfully employed. I want us to build factories for ourselves. We can manufacture, we can set up this particular place. At the end of the day, we now look inwards and begin to, if not for any other thing, discover our potential. There are so many potentials among Nigerians. So by the time you build or revitalize or reinvigorate what is happening in Umuahia, that's ceramics. If you revitalize that company, you can employ up to those people you dash money. Tell them to go there and be working, and they will be productive. So we're not producing anything. We are not working. We are sharing money, and it is wrong. Both morally, legally, it is wrong. Okay, we have seen. I like that question. We have seen one thing that God has endowed us with, and that is oil. I believe in diversification. I believe in the policy of even the present administration that talks about farming. It is about the procedure. Now, one of the policies is that we have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to go back to the land and farm. We have to jettison the idea of these crude implements we use. We have to tell the youth the need for farming. Not the kind of farming that you use all these crude implements. No. We need to engage our people for us to talk about diversifying the modes of increasing the money that comes in our revenues. There's need for us to go into mechanized farming. So they see farming as, even the present day youth, they see farming as something that belongs to the past. No. We have to look away from oil. I'm not saying that we're going to distill oil. Thank you so much. I think the present administration came into governance in the heat of passion. The degree of expectation of Nigerians was very high. Nigerians were desirous of a true leader. And looking at the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Muhammadu Buhari, his antecedents, Nigerians thought that he fitted into that particular mold to be able to give them leadership. I wouldn't want to attack his personality. What went wrong is what I cannot explain for him. It took him 6 months to be able to gather, to form his government. A lacuna was created because you don't leave any gap in situations like that based on vis-a-vis the expectations of Nigeria. They were desiring, they were yearning for a government that would be able to take Nigerians to the promised land. Unfortunately, a lackadaisical attitude was seen within that 6 months. The government could not be formed. Second, the utterances, what I can call an amalgam of quivering voices everywhere, started coming up from the same government. There was no cohesion. This person will say, I'm going to deal with any person found with this particular money and all that. There was capital flight. People became afraid because of a lot of unguarded utterances. People took away their money and left it. It affected the economy drastically. What the Minister for Information will be saying will be quite different from what another minister will be saying from Ministry of Agriculture. It is the same government. What the spokesperson of the president will be saying will be quite different from what the Minister for Transportation will be saying over the same subject matter. There were a series of inconsistencies, and eventually, once a government loses the trust of the people, doubt had to settle. That is another one. Thirdly, there was no fairness in dealing with Nigerians. The moment you begin to tell one of your children, I don't like you, I don't like your faith because you did not support me, what do you expect that person to do? The next thing is that there will be hatred, there will be reciprocity. It affected the trust of Nigerians towards the present administration. So these were the lacunas, and among other ones. So as far as I'm concerned, there are 1,001 of them. It affected the government, and up till now, Nigerians or this particular government have not been able to regain the trust of Nigerians. A laborer deserves his wages, no gainsaying the fact. And when you don't pay a teacher, we know of a teacher, and you don't pay a lecturer, you are digging the grave of the future generations of this particular country. No two ways about it. If you look at what is happening today, let me just take the life of a teacher, for example. Go to public schools. You will realize that many of them will tell you, I have not been paid for the past 6 months. And the effect is that the teacher himself or herself will be distracted from whatever she is doing in the school. Either she is doing one thing again to be able to augment the demands of his family, and at the end of it will be affecting the growth and development of the pupils. So the only way out is that a lot of monies are being lost in the system through thievery. Whatever you can call it corruption, call it thievery, call it anything. It boils down to the fact that corruption has really finished the country. I like what the last administration was doing, and that is my approach towards fighting corruption. Because those monies that we are losing will have been used to be able to pay these teachers and the lecturers for purposes of their growth. I can go on and on and on and on to tell you that we need to address corruption from the root through what I can call contemporary social world using computers and all that, and eventually you'll be able to tackle it from the root. Technologically, you tackle it from the root. You don't just come out over the media and begin to tell them I'm fighting corruption. No. You use technology. And Jonathan has started. If you're telling me that politicians are corrupt, the truth is that the civil servants are more corrupt than even the politicians. So if you can come from that and deal with it from the civil service angle, use technology to be able to make sure that you protect Nigerian money. I want to identify who are the delegates. I am a delegate by virtue of where I'm coming from. I am a product of the parliament. I am presently in the parliament. Outside that, I am equally a delegate by virtue of the fact that I am the former speaker of the House of Assembly of the state. All former presiding officers throughout the federation that are in PDP are delegates. The present members of the House of Assembly of the state that are in PDP are delegates. Chairmen, council chairmen who are PDP members, that is local government council chairmen who are PDP members, are entitled to vote in the primaries. Local government party chairmen who are in PDP are entitled to vote during the convention. Governors, etc., state executives and all that of the party, National Working Committee members, few members of the Board of Trustees, these are delegates for this election. The question is, I'm in a granting position. I am in the platform of the former presiding officer that are up to about 100 that are entitled to vote. So these are the people that are championing my cause. I am in touch with them. If they are going extra mile to campaign, I know the platforms to go to. And I must warn you that delegate election or primary election is about secrecy. It's not about noise making. You meet the right people and be able to tell them, either even in the night, it's not about what is happening in the media, to tell them they need for them to go to. My immediate constituency, as I have enumerated, will not be there. I said I am in the parliament. Assuming but not considering that I am in the parliament. I'm a past speaker. The presiding officers, I met with them. That's why you just saw me. I came in there for yesterday. And I'm in Abuja, meeting with quite a number of people. I'm in touch with Taraba, Gombe, Cross River, Akwa Ibom, based on the fact that the people that will help me to be able to pay are still there. They are delegates. So the energy Mr. Peter will be with respect will be using to campaign because he has never been a legislator. I won't use the same energy. I know where to get these people and speak with them. And eventually, I will tell them, like the people in the force will say, Spirit, they come. They will understand what I'm saying. When I do not win, assuming but not consider that I'm not going to win the primaries, any person that wins in PDP, we will all support him in the overall interest of the party and Nigeria. I am a team player. I believe in organizing this home. When this home is well organized, any person that comes out from this home will definitely teach other people how to be organized. I will never be anti-PDP if I do not. I will support PDP and support any person that emerges as the flag bearer during the convention. I will support that person. And I will support the Nigerian state too. My message to the delegates is simple. Let them choose me. I am saying this based on two things, two factors.
Yes, sir.
Abians are here. When I was holding sway in Abia, Abians are here to attest to my character. Character is important. Abians are able here to attest to my intellectual capacity and capability.